Your Excellency, welcome you with Russia today, and let me start with the results of your visit. You have met the political and the military leadership in Pakistan. What is the result expected in both sides, in Moscow and Islamabad?
Thank you very much for this opportunity to talk to the Russia today. Aim of my trip to Pakistan was to continue bilateral consultations on our economic and trade cooperation with Pakistan, as well as joint coordination on regional issues, including Afghanistan. And we believed that such consultations would be useful on the eve of the forthcoming contacts of the leadership of Russia and Pakistan. You know that President Zardari is going to attend the SCO summit in Beijing, which will happen in 1 week time, and later on he's going to attend the economic forum in St. Petersburg. And during these events, we are planning to arrange a bilateral meeting between President of Russia, Mr. Putin, and Mr. Zardari. We are ready to cooperate with the Pakistani government on the constructions of gas pipeline from Iran into Pakistan. As well, we are ready to cooperate in constructions of Tapi pipeline.
You've covered almost in less than 2-3 minutes the bilateral relations in different fields, but let me touch upon the regional scenarios. That the Afghan file is one of the most important files that is very important for the Russian side and the Pakistani side. In your opinion, where the two sides can meet of their strategic interest in Afghanistan, and how Russia and Pakistan can cooperate to bring about some solutions for this plight in Afghanistan?
We have common strategic interests in Afghanistan, which means that we want to see Afghanistan peaceful, prosperous and stable, free of any sort of terrorism and drug menace. On this, we are unanimously together with Pakistan and with Afghanistan. And we believe that both Russia and Pakistan and all other regional countries can contribute into stabilizing efforts inside Afghanistan. And we have very conducive formats to do it, let it be bilaterally. We have a quadrilateral format with Russia, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Tajikistan, but we have more broader, more stronger format called Shanghai Cooperation Organization. And as I previously told, you were looking forward to have a summit of this organization, and Afghanistan is supposed to be given a status of observer, which enhance its role within this organization. And organization on its turn can help Afghanistan in rehabilitation of the country. When we say rehabilitation, we mean building economy of the country. I completely share a view of the Pakistani leadership when they say the more economy, less terrorism. We completely share this approach. We also believe that only by military means nobody can achieve peace and stability, both in Afghanistan and the region. We should go and strengthen our international community effort through economic help.
You talked of a strategic interest between Pakistan and Afghanistan, and Pakistan and Russia in Afghanistan, but there are two factors which could variate maybe the difference of opinions between two countries: the American factor and Taliban factors. Pakistan maybe sees Taliban its own strategic depth in Afghanistan, and you guys maybe feel that the Taliban are not enough, they are not strong enough to reach to the political setup, or maybe it could cause a threat for Central Asians and maybe for Moscow in the long run. How do you see these two factors in the Russian diplomacy?
First of all, we believe that the current Taliban movement differs from the old one that tried leadership in Afghanistan with very destructive implications, first of all, for the Taliban themselves. The current Taliban looks like more national movement. Not all of them are motivated by ideology. They are fighting, or at least believe they are fighting for their cause of national liberation cause. They don't like foreign forces to be stationed in their country, and they feel that their religion is in danger. Maybe it's exaggeration, but they are part of Afghan society. You may call it Taliban. I would prefer call them Pashtun, who want to see their country, their homeland in different shape. They have legitimate right, but we want them to try to achieve their goal through political means, not through insurgency and violence. We want them to stop bloodshed in Afghanistan. We want them, all Afghans, come to terms on a national interest basis. That's how it is. In that sense, we are ready, of course, to support to the extent of our potential. There are certain principles enshrined by Security Council for national reconciliation in Afghanistan. We strongly support these principles, and we wish insurgency to embrace these principles and start moving toward peace, because we don't believe that all Pashtuns now fighting under the flag of Taliban they want to wage war forever. We believe they want to have a peace and peaceful environment for themselves and their own family. I think everybody, first of all, regional countries, including Pakistan, Iran, China, India, Central Asia, and as well as Russia, we can help this process to mature.
Now, the American troops and the NATO troops are planning to leave in 2014, as they say. And there are a crisis, political and strategic crisis between Washington and Islamabad on the issue of the NATO supply. How the Russian diplomacy sees the future scenario after the departure, and how do you see the present crisis between the two countries? Do you think that they would be able to overcome it, or still the relations will be more strained?
First of all, I want to be more precise on this term of departure. To our knowledge, not everybody is going to depart Afghanistan after 2014. There will be a substantial number of foreign forces deployed at a network of military bases in Afghanistan. That's one. Second, as for crisis in relations between Pakistan and United States of America, well, we of course support the legitimate position of Pakistan when it comes to its sovereignty. And we believe that sovereignty of any country, including Pakistan, should be honored and respected. But at the same time, we are in favor of rapid improvement of relations between Washington and Islamabad, because we are all partners in Afghanistan, and we should not waste the time and efforts on clashing each other. We have common threats and challenges inside Afghanistan to do it together.
There is worries in the Pakistani circles, especially the military circles, of the signed pacts between Kabul and Washington. Recently, Obama has signed the strategic pact with President Karzai. Do you share the same worries with the Pakistanis?
First of all, it is a legitimate right of government of Afghanistan to sign any agreement with foreign countries. provided one thing, that anything, any agreement between Afghanistan and any other country should not possess threats to national interests of the neighborhood and other countries in the region. This is a principal approach of Russia. So far, what we have seen in the strategic partnership agreement between Kabul and Washington, there are certain paras stating that this cooperation will not harm or endanger interests of third parties. Well, this is important. We want to believe that this agreement it is a long-term commitment of the United States of America to support the Afghan nation. If it is materialized in a way as it was put in the agreement, of course we will support. And we don't feel any threats to us. But we want to check whether between those commitments on the paper and real practical action in the field meet each other.
Let me come back to the economics side, where Russia, I think, decided to participate or support the gas pipeline between Iran and Pakistan. Americans, they are opposing this project loudly. And they are even threatening with sanction Pakistan and to put it under some economic sanctions. How would you deal with the situations if Pakistan has sanctions according to the Americans?
I want to be accurate. We haven't signed any agreement yet to participate in this pipeline building, but a Russian Gazprom company already indicated interest. There are no, so far, any detailed negotiations on it, but in principle, we believe that such project will help to improve economic environment of the region. Iran has a gas which is very much necessary for Pakistan with its deficit in energy. Why somebody should be against? Because as we agreed before that more economy brings down terrorism, so why we should create obstacles on the way of prosperous economy? That's why we, in principle, are very much supportive, and we believe it would have been unfair to put sanctions on the way of such cooperation in the region. And we want this cooperation to boost not only between Iran and Pakistan. We want Afghanistan to be included in this process. It will benefit from this process. We want India to be there, China, Central Asia. All of them have legitimate stakes in stability in Afghanistan, as well as Afghanistan has legitimate stakes in these countries. So we want to put region together rather than divide them. Let it be by sanctions or other steps.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for being with us with Russia Today and for this such informative interview. Thank you very much.